I'm going to give this a go. Be kind. I've been working really hard. We'll see how it goes. Let us know. Okay, so this is just a learn to row type class. First we're going to start with setting up the erg. I will tell you how to break it apart since it's already set up. Basically, it's in two parts. So here on this model erg, you have a little lever that pops up here. Just want to make sure that you take care of getting your fingers out of the way there. It pops into two pieces. Be careful of that seat because it's going to roll. Two pieces. When you put it back together, just make sure that foot strap's out of the way. And there's a little piece of metal under there that first part pops into. And you snap it down. And then just make sure that you pop this little lever there all the way down. Make sure it's nice and secure. So that's how you put your erg together and take it apart. You can fold them in half if you need room for a different class type, for whatever you're doing. We keep them down here because this room is dedicated solely to rowing. So now I'm just going to talk about a couple things, a couple parts of the machine, most important parts of the machine here. This is the flywheel, and on the side of the flywheel you have your damper setting, which goes from 1 all the way up to 10. For beginners, we like to have the damper set at a 3 or a 4. I'm going to say a 3 for now. What you taught us in class was that it has very little to do with resistance, which is what a lot of people think it is, and more to do with the air that's being let into the flywheel. So if you think of it as a boat on the water, your level 1 is a nice single streamlined boat that's going to cruise along nice and quickly. It's nice and light. As you go up, your boat gets heavier. So when you're in the mid-range, 5 to 7, 8, you're pulling, a larger boat. When you get all the way up to 10, it's kind of like pulling a tugboat full of stuff in it. So you want to make sure for beginners that you are right around that 3 to 4 range. So that is your flywheel and your damper setting. Here is your handle. When your machine is at rest and you're not using it, it's really important that you keep your handle all the way up close to the flywheel. And the reason is because this handle is on a chain. And the more tension you put on that chain, you're making it lax. So if you leave it here, there's a constant resistance on that chain, so your chain's going to wear out a lot quicker than it would if you leave it right up here when the machine is not in use. So that's your handle and your chain. These, the foot flexors, these are really important for your body position on the rower. When you set them up, you want to make sure that the strap lines up with the ball of your foot, or I like to say right along that crease of your toes, where your toes meet the rest of your foot. When you come in, you want to make sure that your shins can get perpendicular. If you can't, then you need to drop the foot strap a couple of notches. So there's that. And then you have your monorail in your seat, and the seat should flow or glide freely right on that monorail. It's really important to keep this clean. We'll go over at the end. So that's your basic setup. This is actually your monitor. I'll show you a little, Carolyn, you can come in. I'll show you a little bit about the monitor here. So there are different types of workouts that you can do. We're going to set our monitor for our piece a little bit later after we go over the components of a stroke. You can change units, you can change display, you can even play games with this. You can go back and look at all the information for pieces that you've done and so on and so forth. We're not going to get that deep into it today because this is just a learn to row. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my feet in the foot straps. When you're seated on the seat, you want to make sure that you have an even distribution of weight on that seat. Please don't look at my bottom, it's going to hang off the sides a little bit. You want to make sure that your bum is not too forward on that seat, and also that your bum is not too far back. It's really important that you're right in the middle so you're nice and comfortable, and you can stay as comfortable throughout your class. I'm just going to set my handle here and hook just because I'm going to get ready to row. To start, we're going to go over the basic components of the rowing stroke. When you hold the handle, you want to make sure that your hands are not too far in towards the center and not too far out. You want to be closer to the end, but nice and lightly grip your fingers around the handle, right in the middle of that handle. When you're right in here, this is called the catch. When you start to push, using your leg, that is the drive. You're coming back into the finish, and then you go forward into the recovery. So that's just a breakdown. We're going to do a couple of drills to show you the components of the stroke. So in arms-only rowing, you're starting in the finish. You extend your arms out in front of you, keeping a nice straight plane on that chain. And you pull right with your arms. Keep a nice light grip on that handle. Tap just below your breast and go out. If you're a woman, your breast. Right into your chest. In and out. In and out. The next component to the stroke is body over. So in 2, we're going to go into body over. 2, 1, into body over. So you're extending your arms forward towards your toes. Using that core to pull the chain. Make sure you don't lay back too far. If you think of it on a clock, you're going from 1 o'clock to 11 o'clock, passing right through 12. You never stay in 12. Keeping that nice, light grip on that handle. And the next component to the stroke is that full recovery with the legs. So we're going to break it down into a quarter slide, half slide, 3/4 slide, and a full. So in 2, I'm going to take it to a quarter slide. 2, 1, quarter. Making sure that my arms are extended beyond my knees before I move my knees. In 2, we're going to a half. 2, 1, half slide. Watch how my arms go first, arms away, body over, then your legs. In 2, I'm going to take it to a 3/4 slide. 2, 1, 3/4 slide. We're going to go all the way to a full slide. 2, 1, full slide. The seat's going to come about 4 to 6 inches away from my heels when I come in. I'm going to drive, making sure I use that full monorail. Your drive is a count of 1, and your recovery is a count of 2. So you're always making sure that you're using 80% of your legs. Come into the catch. Don't open that back too soon. Try with those legs. Open up and finish with those arms. I'm going to finish in 2 strokes. 1 and 2. So that's your component the stroke. I'm just going to pop out of here for a minute. We're going to come back over to the monitor, and I'm going to show you how we're going to set up our piece for our Learn To class. So on the monitor, I'm going to hit the menu back, and I'm going to choose Select a Workout. On the next screen, you see a list of 4 things: standard list, custom list, rerow, or new workout. I'm creating a new workout, so I'm going to go to new workout. Please ignore my nails. I had my daughter paint them for me. She's 2. I'm going to choose intervals in time because we're doing a timed interval. When you come to this screen, you want to set your time. The first is your working time. So we're going to do a 5-minute piece. So I'm going to press that plus button, 1, up to 2, 3, 4, 5. To get the cursor to move over to the next number, it looks like a little play button. It's an arrow to the right. I'm going to hit that 2 times. So 5 minutes, that's our working time. Our piece is going to be 5 minutes long. I press it again. I'm going to now set the rest time. We're going to do a 2-minute rest. So again, I use that plus sign to get to 2 minutes. Then I'm going to arrow over again. You don't really need to do that. If you're going to change your seconds, you could. But there's a little piece of paper with a check mark down here. Now I'm going to just check it. So I'm using a 5-minute piece with, so it's 7 minutes altogether, but 5 minutes of work, 2 minutes of rest. Hit the check mark, and there you see, there's your 5 minutes of work. I have the screen set up so that my intensity level is measured in meters. You can change this. You can change your units to watts. You can change it to calories per hour or meters. I like it in meters. I like to see my split times and how quickly I'm rowing based on my strokes per minute. Okay, so we're going to get going. It's really important that you don't touch that handle until you're really ready to start your piece. So the piece that I'm going to do today is a nice light workout for a beginner row. We're going to do a 2-minute at 20 strokes per minute, 2 minutes at 22 strokes per minute, and 1 minute at 24. You're never in a beginner class going to really go above 24 strokes per minute. You can vary that intensity within that low stroke rate per class. So we're going to get going. We already did our pick drill, so I'm going to go right into my piece. I'm slowly going to make my way up to 20. So what's important to remember is that you can have 11 people in a class all working at the same stroke rate, but working at very different intensities. And that depends on the amount of power you use in the drive and your recovery. It's important in a rowing class to stay nice and synchronized. You want to make sure that you come all the way to the catch, that your hands are the first to go, arms away, body over, then your legs. You'll notice that the handle passes right over my knees when my knees pop up. Common mistake, bringing the knees up too soon. That means you have to get that handle out of the way of your knees. We're almost there. So we're doing 1 more minute. Nice, consistent stroke. Watching that big number in the middle, keeping it nice and even. Now I'm going pretty slow at 20. I can increase my intensity and drop my pace down for my split time down by driving harder. I'll show you an example. So here's my nice and easy. My pace right now is 309. Not good, right, Mary? All right. So I'm going to take that 20, and I'm going to drive harder. I'm pushing harder. My recovery stays the same, but my pace has dropped to 230. We're going to bump it up now to 22. I have 1.5 more minutes at 22. Make sure you don't chicken wing out those arms too much. If you bring that handle too far up, you'll see your arms become like a chicken wing. So watch that handle not too far. That's not something you want to do. To fix it, bring the handle right in. To the top of your rib cage. So we're going to bump it up one more time, working hard at 24 for 1 minute. Chain on a nice straight plane. Another common area you'll see is a little scoop here at the bottom where you come up. You don't want to see any scoop. You want that nice horizontal straight plane in and out of that catch. And now we're in our rest. Where we slow it way down. Nice light bow. Resting. I'm not going to take you through the whole 2 minutes. And your monitor will repeat the same piece, that 5-minute work, 2-minute rest. It people are looking to push themselves a little bit harder or practice at home, I would tell them to probably work up to 20 minutes to 30 minutes of consistent rowing at 20 to 22 strokes per minute. When I'm finished, I'm going to bring my handlebar all the way up again. I'm just going to go over some common errors before we talk about finishing and cleaning that machine. So we talked about a few while I was rowing. We talked about the placement of that handlebar, bringing it up too high. We talked about the scoop in the chain. We did not talk about opening up that back too soon or staying in 12 o'clock. When I go to the gym and I see people rowing, now that I know how to row, I see a lot of this. So what's happening is, I'm staying in 12 o'clock. I'm not utilizing my legs nearly as much as I could, or my upper body strength. I'm limiting it. To fix this, what you want to instruct or coach is that you're passing through. Think of your back on a clock. When you come into the catch, we're at 1 o'clock. You want to stay in that 1 o'clock position for as long as possible. You start the drive with your legs, push, 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 push. When your legs are extended, you open up that back and finish. So we'll do it in regular motion. You pass through 12 o'clock. Another common mistake you see is people popping their legs too early. If you notice, my knees come up right as that handlebar passes. Let's see if I can get myself to do it incorrectly. So here, your knees are coming up. You have to get that handlebar out of the way. You want to make sure you get good body over. So your hands get out of the way. Coming from 11 o'clock into that 1 o'clock and drive. So those are some common errors and some coaching techniques to get people out of those habits. Now I'm going to talk about cleaning etiquette of your machine. So when you're done with your piece, with your class, you're going to make sure that you instruct all your participants to take that handle out of the hook, bring it all the way up to the flywheel. We discussed why that's really important. Here, it's suggested that you use window cleaner to clean off your machine. We want to make sure that we clean that monorail. I'm going to run and grab what we use here. We have some cleaning wipes that we use here at Row and Ride. You want to make sure that you're cleaning the monorail, keeping it nice and clean so that roller glides nice and smoothly up and down the monorail. Really important. You want to clean off your seat. Make sure you clean that nicely for the next person to use. And that handlebar. And you always want to make sure that you have that damper setting at a 3 for the next person. And I think that's about it, Terry. Please make corrections. Hopefully my form has improved enough for you to give me the go-ahead. And that's about it. Thank you very much. Let me know how I do.